Good morning, everyone. Sean here, 24th of March, 2020, and we're going to do a slow time walkthrough on a solo game. It's a bug hunt. So this is going to be greys are hidden throughout the town that we're going to set up here shortly. But first I want to take you through one of my absolute favorite things in this game. So INEPTT is designed primarily to be run by a game master, and that shouldn't detract anybody from playing it solo, because you can set up a solo game as a game master and then just run the team through, and the monsters are just as random as you would normally have them. And I say monsters meaning paranormal creatures or aliens, supernatural creatures, doesn't matter. So I have made up ready-made teams at the beginning of the book. So if you bought the printed copy of INEPTT on page 13, and I'm going to pick up the camera and just show you really quickly. I have the you can see there, that's the ready-made teams. So you can buy a ready-made team, or you can use a ready-made team rather than making up your own. And you know, they're effective. There's nothing wrong with them. They're designed for sort of a really quick, let's get going type of situation where you can just photocopy off the team, give it to the player, and say, okay, here we go. We're about to start. But my favorite thing about the game is the depth that is behind it. Now, I got to warn you about something right away. I purposely did not try and cover every rule. And the reason for that is I was born and raised on Gary Gygax's Dungeons and Dragons, and I found the way he did it, where he left enough for the game master or the player to throw in their own bit, much more conducive to good gameplay than I find when they script everything out for you. I find that if a game is overly scripted or overly rule-based, it's hard to follow, and it makes it less likely to be able to get maximum playability out of multiple games. That's just my own opinion. I'm not saying it's right. It's an opinion. It's just how I feel about gaming. So when you read through the rules, I don't cover every base, because I believe that you, as a player or as a game master, might have your own idea of how something should fall out. And that's the way the game's supposed to be. So, you want to talk about versatility. Sit down and watch a few movies like, let's pick a couple. Predator. What else? Mimic. The Bunker. 1, 2, 3, doesn't matter which one. There's a myriad of games. Alien versus Predator. Anything that has, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th. You could take any of those games and you could play it out with INEPTT. Now, the way the rule system works, you can move. So let's say, for example, you're the INEPTT player and you're going to be moving your team. So you got a 6-man team or a 6-person team. You can move your troops individually. So each individual model moves on its own, unless you're stacked. And there's two types of stack. There's loose stack and heavy stack. We'll get into that later on. I just want to try and explain a little bit of a basic as to the flexibility of these rules. So you can move a figure 2 inches to go behind the corner of a building. So let's say, for example, we're going to take this sniper, and he's going to move to this stairway to shoot down the road that way. So he moved 2 inches to get there. He shoots, and then he can move 5 inches back to go back around the corner. So he's got cover again. Or he could move to here as long as he only walked and go into Overwatch. So if he's in Overwatch, if an alien walks out behind the building there, the gun shop, or up the alley, he can get the first shot before the alien can shoot him. So yeah, you can move, shoot. You can shoot, move, and hide. Like you can get seek better cover by kneeling down. You can run, shoot, and then run some more, or you can run full speed to your destination and then open fire, or throw a grenade, or whatever it is you want to do. So anyway, that's some of the flexibility of being able to demonstrate how the game can be played in a very realistic type of atmosphere, given that we are talking about not realistic situations with aliens and paranormal beasts and things like that. Okay, so let's get on with the one of my favorite parts of this rule set, and that is building a team from scratch. So it's well worthwhile to use the ready-made teams, but what I like to do is I like to make my own teams, and I usually do that if I'm going to play a game and I expect to have 3 players and I'm the game master. I will build 3 teams individually for the players, or I'll tell them to build three teams. Each team can have a maximum of 6 soldiers, is what I'll tell them, or I'll tell them 8 or whatever, you know, how many agents I think they should have, and let them go. Now, I do have a short criteria. It says you have to have a leader. You can have a combat medic or a sniper or a saw gunner, and a fire team of 3 assaulters and 1 heavy support weapons operator. Now, that is what a starting team normally consists of. And I say here must consist of, but I'll tell you right now, I say must because when we were writing the rules up as the 2nd edition, people asked for more structure. But for me, when I'm doing a team, you have to have a leader. It's good to have a combat medic or a sniper, and then you know, your assaulters do work in teams of 4, but you don't have to have 4 assaulters. You go 2 assaulters and a combat medic and a saw gunner. You know, like you can pick and choose. So although I say must, it's really to offer more structure to players who are feeling overwhelmed by how many choices you have. Now, I also put in costs for things. The costs are, again, based on the fact that people were asking for more structure to the game, so they would know how many inept players or how much money inept could spend to be matched up with a like level of alien. So I would say that if you go between 1,200 and 2,000 credits, which is what, you know, everything costs credits in the game, you're probably looking at a decent team, anywhere between 6 and 8. Okay, so when you build your team, let's go off the idea that we're going to have a leader, a combat medic, a sniper, 3 assaulters, and a heavy weapon support operator. Okay, so if you look down here, I'm going to move the camera again. Sorry, you can see that we have. It's hard to see how clear it is, isn't it? Yeah. Sorry. You've got 2, 4, 6 different types of agent, and then you have a dog. So you can pick dogs up as part of your team. They're well worth it in many circumstances. They're really good at sniffing out booby traps, things like that. They can also track down bad guys a lot faster than a foot soldier. Okay, so you can pick from civilian, police, SWAT, who are police but with special training, soldier, special agents. These guys come from the KGB, the CIA, the Mossad, any secret agent type of organization throughout the world, or special forces. Now, each comes with its own criteria, and in INEPTT, you have movement, which is walk, jog, and sprint. You have combat, which is fight and shoot. You have morale, health, a melee bonus, which basically means how many, like you have a bonus when you're in a fight situation that will make it easier for you to kill somebody. And then notes, you get, for a civilian, you get 2 starting abilities. For all the others, you get 1 start ability, except for special forces, which start with leadership and can select 1 other special ability. Now, the abilities themselves are set up in a number of categories. Leaders have different abilities: assaulters, support operators, snipers, and combat medics. And I've also put in national abilities. If you've got the rules, like if you have bought the rules, whether it's PDF or print, and you see anything that, like, you know, you're looking at the national abilities and you think, well, how come there's nothing for this? Please email me at SeanT63@hotmail.com. That's SHAWN, Sean T63@hotmail.com. I will include them in the rules because, you know, knowing national capability or abilities, it's a little stereotypical, but also there's a little bit of I don't know, nostalgia to some of it that can make it interesting when you're building your international team. So as of right now, I have Germanic abilities, British, Canadian, Australian, New Zealand, Russian, French, Italian, and Japanese. I would love to get more, but again, what type of things would be special beyond normal capability that, say, a Chinese operator or a Turkish operator or an Egyptian operator might have? So if you have any ideas about that kind of stuff, please let me know. Also, just of note, if you already don't know, there's a Facebook group for INEPTT II. Please come and join. Okay, so I've got generic abilities, which is things like Bravest of Brave, Disguise, Masquerade, Commando, Martial Arts Level 1 and 2, and Damn Lucky. Now, when you take an ability, you can select ability based on either generic or on what type of operator you're going to have. So a leader, for example, can have extra ammo, inspirational, knife fighter, which could be axe or sword, player's choice, grenade and shot, and terrain expert. The support and sniper operators have things like demolitions, anti-tank expert, auto cannon gunner, heavy machine gunner, sniper, stealth, move unseen, special ammunition. And those fall under the 2 different leadership capabilities. Or sorry, the 2 different subcategories of support and sniper. So you can really make your team your own. So it's not just a generic bunch of guys who don't really mean anything. And I like that because INEPTT is supposed to be a light role play, heavy skirmish warfare type of game. So for me personally, I like it that when I build a team, I have different capabilities that I select myself. That way it feels more personal. And yeah, you get a bit of an attachment to the team, but it's also more painful when you lose somebody. So, you know, it's up to you. But seriously, I would have a good read of Annex A, building the team from scratch, and just see what you think. Okay, on that note, we're going to stop here on the building the team from scratch, and we're going to get ready to set up a solo game. And this is a bug hunt. An INEPTT team going after Greys. Thanks very much.